A staggering thought from the last 15 months. If you are a salesperson, a small business owner, or someone who is in the business of growing, um, the new producer counts or the new clients or the success stories from prospecting, and by the way, I'm using all three of those as real examples, are down at all time lows for most businesses and for most individuals. And so it doesn't mean it's all like, Zoom's a really easy example to point to. I think they're up like 16,000% in terms of new user count over the last 15 months, but not everyone has had that great success rate. And so if you're trying to figure out how do I improve my new producer count, or how do I improve my ability to prospect more successfully, I'll give you two things to consider. One is from Zoom. That's going to be the second idea, and then the other one's an old one, just kind of revisited. And so the first thought is based on referrals, and so many of us have 8, 10, 15, 20 people who we consider really, really close relationships that we do business with, who think a lot of the way we do things, the way our company does things, the way our products work, the way our services work, etc. The question we could consider or should consider asking those folks is, who would you suggest I should be talking to that I'm not currently? Now, that question asked that way sets up for a question back to you. Well, that's kind of hard for me to answer because I don't know everyone you're talking to. Well, that's a good response. I agree. Now we've got a discussion going. So here's three or four people I was thinking about that I know you're friendly with, or I know you're connected with, or whatever that happens to be. Do you think those folks would be the right people? Once we start getting into this dialogue, they're much more likely to say, okay, this person's the right person. These two aren't. This other one, let me think about it for a minute. But that type of discussion allows for a better opportunity for success stories with your prospecting efforts. The second thought is from a Zoom, from what Zoom and some of these other companies that have grown so dramatically over the last 15 months or in the pandemic. And the thought is they've proved, or they convinced people that they have something that enables them to do something better than the way they were currently doing it in the past. And so what Zoom said is, you're not able to communicate with people the way that you like to communicate with people, meaning face to face. You're now forced to do it over the phone or over email. That's not good enough. This platform is a better one. So what things can you do? What things can you convince your clients that we have a way for you to continue to do what you're doing, but do it in a better way? And this is going to be the last thought, and it's an important one. We always have to consider this complexity versus value continuum. Meaning, if it's too complex, even if the value is high enough, people won't pull it into their practice, or won't start using it from your firm. So we have to consistently consider, how complex is it versus how much value do they get? And so if we can articulate the message in a way that says, although this is a sophisticated idea, not complex, it's a sophisticated idea, the value exceeds the challenge of implementation. And that conversation is what made Zoom so successful, and what ultimately will help you with your prospecting efforts and your sales efforts as we continue this face-to-face process.